Stay tuned for the Splash Live. It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the Greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Keefe, and as always, I'm joined by Kevin McIntosh. Kevin, we're through the solar eclipse mania, but what a wild day it was here in the Greater West Bloomfield area and across really the entire Midwest enjoying the solar eclipse.
Tyler, it was I had to be the one yesterday. I was in Kalamazoo, but I walked outside wondering, what are all these people looking up for? And burned my eyes trying to look at it. It was kind of crazy. So an 18-year-old young lady had to pass me some eclipse glasses, and I finally saw it. It was a beautiful sight, man.
Yeah, it was. It was an interesting experience all across the board, whether you were here in the Greater West Bloomfield area in various parts of Michigan, or like members of our team, Brooke Allen, Dave Scott, and Jason Dean from our team down in Marysville, Ohio, for the event commemorating the solar eclipse from the path of totality. They were able to see all throughout the event the various cycles that the moon went through in front of the sun, and then they captured the moment of that moment of totality live from within the path of totality in Ohio. Let's take a look at that.
There's just a sliver of light. You can begin to see how much darker it's getting. Maybe Joe can come over here and turn our TV light down just a little bit, and you get a little bit better feel, because it's getting awful bright here with our television lights here on our set. Okay, so now you can't see us, but the camera artificially increases the amount of light that is behind us. And it's getting very dark. It's kind of almost like a little bit of a red hue way off in the background. And again, what you're seeing on your TV right now and in our camera shot is artificially brighter than it is. Brooke, what's your reaction?
Well, it's almost completely covered.
Yeah. And one of the things that we can see, Joe, I don't know if you can get this. Joe's shooting some still pictures, but it's gone. Now, Joe, is there any way can you line the camera up? Can you line the camera up on TV? Because we're right in the moment now. We are looking up. We'll get this on camera for you as quickly as we can. But the moon is totally covering the sun, and we just see that little bit around the perimeter, around the outside. We're going to try to get that in our view for you here. We'll try to capture that for you. There it is. So get that. You're going to get that. There you go. Okay, good. Let's lock that shot up right there. That was worth the effort to get that. Okay, Jared, you can line that up. So that is exactly what we are seeing here. This, Brooke, yes. That's like the grand finale of the fireworks show.
That moment in the path of totality with the total eclipse in view from Marysville, Ohio. And that entire program, Kevin, is available now. You can watch it if you didn't get a chance to tune in yesterday to watch that live as it happened. It's available now on civiccentertv.com. A full program about an hour long from Marysville, Ohio, leading into the moment where the sun was blocked partially, just for a few minutes, by the moon out in Marysville, Ohio. And we saw those same moments out here in the Greater West Bloomfield area as well, Kevin, with West Bloomfield School District and West Bloomfield Parks also enjoying the moments. We got a few pictures from West Bloomfield's school district of some of their fun from throughout the school district. They held an eclipse party. They had some moments outside looking at the eclipse from the ACS building. Here you can see on your screen in just a moment. We'll put that up for you if we can get those up on screen. Here we go. You got Amy Quinn and the team from the ACS building. They all got their solar eclipse glasses. The ones that do are looking up at the sun. The one that does not is looking at the camera. The kids enjoying too some of the daycare areas at the West Bloomfield School District's administrative building, or ACS building. Just across town from us. Here's a few more individuals. And then over at West Bloomfield Parks, they also had an event looking at the eclipse outside, and posted a picture of that on their Instagram. I'd encourage you to look at that also. Instagram /WB_parks for more of that. And then, Kevin, we sent Jake Schaff out into the trenches yesterday in our community. We talked to Roosevelt on Monday's show just before the eclipse about some of their special programming they were putting forth for the total solar eclipse day. And Jake Schaff was out there to enjoy the festivities with them out in the field. Here's the story.
Well, the solar eclipse has officially come and gone, and residents all across the community have found their own special way to enjoy this incredible event. The children of Roosevelt Elementary were gifted to an incredible day full of fun classes and activities all centered around the solar eclipse, and were able to enjoy this incredible phenomenon together outside with the rest of their class. I spoke with some of the teachers of Roosevelt to find out just what an event like this really means to the kids.
So today is the solar eclipse, and my first graders are very excited about it. They came in this morning super enthusiastic, so we kind of just made it a solar eclipse day, which was super exciting. So we made spinners and learned about all the stages of the solar eclipse. We had someone in our district actually do a read aloud so that we could share it with our classes, and there was also a really cool scientific video that we watched today and then did a writing project on. So it has just been solar eclipse incorporated into our day today for curriculum, which has been really cool.
We were learning a little bit this morning about the solar eclipse, being that this is probably the first time these students have had a chance to be able to see it. We read a little bit about the history. We learned a little bit about what's going to be happening, how to be safe and wearing their goggles. And then we took some time this afternoon to go outside and look out at the sun and see what we could see. A lot of them were really excited about it, and as the time went on, they were more excited about how much closer it was getting to the peak of totality.
What about this day do you think really captures the kids' interest?
I think being able to just see science and be able to see what's happening in our world, it's something that's brand new to them. They have never experienced this. And then I think what's really cool is I was a middle schooler here back when it was Abbott many years ago, probably back in the 90s. And I recall my own self seeing a solar eclipse at that time. So I remember going out into the backyard, watching the solar eclipse happening. So it kind of brought back some really fun memories.
What do you hope kids take away from today?
Science is really cool, and maybe we might have some future astronauts or some scientists in our classroom wanting to go out and study more about space, study more about the sun and everything that's happening.
I would say that opportunity to do this with their future if they were interested, but if not, just to remember this day moving forward, right? The next one isn't for I think 20 years. So for them to remember this day in their first grade classroom with Miss Howells and all the fun things that we learned about it. So I just think it was a really cool kind of hands-on opportunity for science to use in our classroom.
An incredible experience I'm sure these kids won't soon forget. Let's hope everyone made the most of this very special day, and let's hope that these kids take an even bigger interest in our amazing universe. For Civic Center TV, I'm Jake Schaff.
Appreciate the report from Jake Schaff. And of course, you can always keep up to date on everything happening in the West Bloomfield School District on their Facebook page at West Bloomfield Schools or on WBSD.org as they learn about the sciences and commemorate history. Sometimes they do that all at the same time. A special occasion throughout our community on Monday as we recognize the total solar eclipse and our partial solar eclipse here in the local area and all throughout our community. Once again, if you want to watch our entire special, The Eclipse Show, from In the Path of Totality in Marysville, Ohio, Dave Scott, Brooke Allen, Jason Dean, that entire show available for you on demand on CivicCenterTV.com, and we'll be replaying throughout the remainder of this week. You'll be able to check out all of its airing times on our website, again, CivicCenterTV.com, or jump over to our YouTube page at Civic Center TV to find it on demand as well. Close to home in the West Bloomfield area, and really all throughout all four of our communities now, residents are able to drop off hazardous waste from within their homes to West Bloomfield Town Hall twice a year in order to get rid of these materials in a way that is safe for both themselves and for the environment. The next household hazardous waste event drop-off happens on Friday of this week, April 12th for seniors, and Saturday, April 13th for all other residents of the Greater West Bloomfield area at the West Bloomfield Town Hall complex. Joining us to talk about this year's household hazardous waste event for the spring is the executive assistant to the West Bloomfield Township Supervisor, Chris Darcy. Chris, thank you for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, happy to have you on as we preview the household hazardous waste event. And for a number of years, this has been something that residents in West Bloomfield have been really excited about twice a year because it gives them an opportunity to get rid of some materials from within their home that otherwise could be really dangerous to dispose of. So take us through the household hazardous waste event, and for those that maybe are unfamiliar with this, what it's all about.
Sure, yeah. So twice per year, once in the fall and once in the spring, we have an event, the Household Hazardous Waste event. It runs on Saturdays from 9 to noon, and then on the Friday evening prior, it will be from 4 to 6 p.m., and that's usually for seniors, 62 and older. But yeah, it's an opportunity for residents to get rid of their batteries or light bulbs or fertilizers and paint, gasoline, any electronic waste, anything that they have that they want to rid themselves of that normally would not be acceptable in the regular trash.
And that's what's really the key point of this, is that this is the kind of stuff that if you were to just throw it in your trash receptacle, put it at the end of your driveway, look, it could end up in a landfill and it could end up having some harmful effects on our environment. And so with the township collecting this, how does that make that process different? Who are you working with in order to make sure that these materials are in fact getting disposed of safely?
Yeah, so we contract with ERG Environmental. And they are professionals in this arena. They know specifically how to get rid of the hazardous materials in the proper way so that they don't pose any sort of risk. So yeah, we contract with them each year, and they take care of everything for us at these annual events, twice annual events. Yeah, they're very good at what they do. They're professionals. So last year, I believe they took almost 104,000 pounds worth of hazardous materials and electronic waste from our events last year.
More information on the household hazardous waste event happening Friday for seniors 62 and older across our 4 communities, and Saturday for residents of the Greater West Bloomfield communities can be found on wbtownship.org. And again, those dates coming up: Friday, April 12th at Town Hall from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. That is for senior drop-off only. And then Saturday morning, 9 a.m. until 12 noon at the Town Hall complex. That's for everybody else in our 4 communities. Chris, as people are getting prepared for this, how should they best go about preparing to bring their materials in? What do they need to know before they get to Town Hall so that they can smoothly get through the process and drop off these hazardous materials for a proper disposal?
Yeah, Tyler. So what we recommend people do is that they just either box up their materials or just stack them in the back of their vehicle as best they can. As you drive through the complex, and there's usually a short line, unfortunately, but that's because it's so popular, and we appreciate that. So many residents are willing to participate in this. But what we request is that they put their materials in the back of the vehicle. The electronic waste is the very last stop. So if they want to leave, the last things to load could be their televisions, laptops, whatever, VCRs, whatever they happen to be wanting to get rid of that way. What we request is that they just stay in their vehicle. They'll pull up when it's their turn. We will have plenty of staff on site to direct them to which lane to go into. They'll just unlock their vehicle, and the staff here will actually unload the items from their vehicle. They do not have to leave their vehicle. They don't have to lift a thing once everything has been loaded into their vehicle initially.
Now, Chris Darcy is with us from the West Bloomfield Township Supervisor's Office as we preview their twice annual Household Hazardous Waste event. The spring edition of that for the 2023-24 year is coming up this Friday and Saturday. Friday night is senior drop-off from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., ages 62 and older. Saturday, that's for the rest of the residents of the Greater West Bloomfield area from 9 a.m. until 12 noon. More information on wbtownship.org. And Chris, I mentioned that this is open to residents of the Greater West Bloomfield community. That's kind of a broader term, and this has been expanded, this event and its availability to members of our local area in recent years. So who is eligible to drop off these materials, and as they're getting prepared to bring those materials in, what else do they need to be prepared to bring in to make sure they get into the line and get these materials dropped off?
Yeah, so we sign contracts with intercommunity contracts with the city of Orchard Lake Village, with Kego Harbor, and also Sylvan Lake. So those residents are welcome to participate. We just request that they have their driver's license with them. That the officers will be checking licenses to make sure that you are either a West Bloomfield Township resident or that you are a resident of one of the other three communities. So that's how we maintain the integrity of the event, make sure that everybody is allowed to attend and those that are not permitted are not permitted through the line.
And you can find more information on this from your local communities as well, not only from West Bloomfield Township, but anything else that you may need to know from the City of Orchard Lake Village at cityoforchardlake.com, from Kego Harbor at kegoharbor.org, or Sylvan Lake from them at sylvanlake.org. But all the general information about this household hazardous waste event happening on Friday and Saturday can be found on wbtownship.org. And they're going to have another one of these events coming up later on this year. Their fall event will be happening in September. So, Chris, if people do miss this event, not only do they have that available to them in September, but we talked about this a little while ago also. There is some additional availability for residents of West Bloomfield in particular for them to be able to drop off materials outside of this household hazardous waste event with one of your contractors.
Yes, that's correct. ERG Environmental, which is the company that we contract with to do these events, is also the same company we contract with starting this year, as this is brand new. But West Bloomfield Township residents only, for this portion of it, can throughout the year, if they have items that they don't want to wait on until whenever the next event is, they can gather up their electronic waste or their household hazardous materials and take them to ERG. Of course, they do have to stop into the town hall building here to obtain a voucher prior to their visit. But other than that, once you have the voucher, which is free, you just make your plans to go visit them at ERG in Livonia.
Chris Darcy with us from West Bloomfield Township Supervisor's Office as we get ready for household hazardous waste happening Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. for seniors across our four communities. You've got to be a Greater West Bloomfield resident, West Bloomfield, Kego Harbor, Orchard Lake Village, Sylvan Lake, 62 years and older for Friday night drop-off at Town Hall in West Bloomfield, or Saturday, April 13th from 9 a.m. until 12 noon. Any residents, including seniors and those of all ages across the four communities, are welcome to come over to West Bloomfield Town Hall on Walnut Lake Road, just west of our campus here at Civic Center TV. The Town Hall complex is going to be where this drop-off is going to happen. You will line up your cars along their drive-through to get in and out of there and drop off all of your materials. And Chris, because of that, traffic also a concern as we go into the weekend. From your coordination with the West Bloomfield Police Department, what should residents expect, especially now that in the last couple of years this has been expanded to residents of 4 different cities and townships?
It is, yes, it's a popular event. I know the line can get a little bit frustrating. There will be more than likely a line up for this event, and a lot of times the cars will line up along Walnut Lake Road, along Walnut Lake Road all the way to Orchard Lake Road and possibly beyond. Sometimes I think it's helpful if the residents come from the other angle, from, say, Farmington Road, and make a left into the complex. That might be a shorter line. I can't guarantee it, but just pack your patience because it is a popular event. But once the event opens, it actually moves pretty quickly. So the lines do, run through fairly efficiently.
Yeah, all the more reason to have your materials ready in proper order as you're going through that, with electronics being the last to unload, as Chris mentioned earlier on, and to make sure as you're entering the town hall complex, you have your ID ready that will prove your residency of Keego Harbor, Orchard Lake Village, Sylvan Lake, or the Charter Township of West Bloomfield. More information on what you need for household hazardous waste, including acceptable materials, can be found on wbtownship.org or visit your local city website for even more information. Chris, before we let you go, anything else that people should know about this particular household hazardous waste event coming up on Friday and Saturday of this week, or how they can learn more information for future events involving our 4 communities?
Yeah, you can always, like you mentioned, you can always visit our website for more information or give us a call here at Town Hall, wbtownship.org, of course, that's our website here. Otherwise, we look forward to seeing everybody. We love this event. It's one of our most popular events, and a lot of people take advantage of it each year. So it's really just a great event.
There are a list of materials that are accepted and those that are not accepted available on wbtownship.org. Just a few examples. Accepted hazardous waste includes antifreeze, ammonia, fluorescent tubes, maybe your lights, old gasoline or kerosene, light bulbs, in those electronics, keyboards, mouses, DVDs and VCRs. Some materials that are not accepted are old air conditioning units, appliances are not accepted, any explosives are, of course, would not be accepted, tires, styrofoam, and many other materials. So to find that full list, wbtownship.org. Chris, thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, thank you, Tyler.
Appreciate it. Friday night drop-off for seniors 62 years of age and older in West Bloomfield and the Tri-Cities of Keego Harbor, Sylvan Lake, and Orchard Lake Village, 4 p.m. until 6 p.m. at the West Bloomfield Town Hall Complex. You can also join them on Saturday from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. That's open to all residents of the Greater West Bloomfield communities. 4550 Walnut Lake Road is the address for West Bloomfield Town Hall. Kevin, a great opportunity for people to take some of those materials in their homes that maybe are dangerous to throw into a landfill, or they're just not sure how to get rid of properly, to West Bloomfield Town Hall, working with a contractor that knows exactly how to get rid of this stuff in a way that's safe for both our residents and for our local environment.
I'm embarrassed to say, I didn't know DVDs and CDs and stuff like that was supposed to go in this type of hazardous waste. So I've been improperly disposing of a few different things that I just learned today, Tyler, should be going in this hazardous waste. So thank you for informing us, Chris Darcy, and thank you for that story, Tyler, because goodness, I've been doing wrong.
Hey, you know what? This is a great learning opportunity for residents. I'm sure that there are many across our 4 communities who also have maybe thrown some of these materials out before, not knowing that they could potentially be harmful or take a very long time to break down. All the more reason an event like this is very helpful. Again, wbtownship.org for everything you need to know across our 4 communities about this weekend's household hazardous waste drop-off event. The next one after this weekend will be in September, on Friday, September 27th, and on Saturday, September 28th. Friday, September 20th, and Saturday, September 21st. The shredding event will be on the 27th and the 28th, the week after that. wbtownship.org. Live, local, social, it's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. We'll take a quick break. On the other side, some fun, some art, and appreciating a local community organization in the Greater West Bloomfield area. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. Bringing you stories and memories from Sylvan Lake, Civic Center TV, and 89.3 Lakes FM. Live, local, and social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Join our team as we highlight people and events that are making an impact in the Greater West Bloomfield area. Catch us live Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Watch us on demand at civiccentertv.com. Or watch us on TV at Comcast Channel 15 or AT&T at Channel 99.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
Missed one of our live broadcasts or one of your local municipal meetings? Check it out online at civiccentertv.com. Every meeting, show, and interview on demand. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to The Splash, live.
Live, local, social, it's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Keefe alongside Kevin McIntosh as we are celebrating so many different events and recognizing so many other organizations in our community that are helping people, especially during a time of the year where we're recognizing particular communities that are affected by the world around them each and every day. And Kevin, in just a moment, you'll be speaking with Bassie Shemtov and Caitlin Cartwright from the Friendship Circle about a topic really important to us here in the Greater West Bloomfield community from an organization based right out of here, as they have some special events coming up very soon.
Yes, very interested when I found the story about what they have going on this upcoming art festival or art event, I should say, just to keep it pretty in general. Just to give us a little bit more insight on what's going on, we are being joined currently by founder and director Bassie Shemtov, as well as Caitlin Cartwright from the Friendship Circle. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks so much for having us.
Absolutely. So I want to start first and foremost by kind of painting this picture for myself and our audience and letting us know who and what the Friendship Circle is exactly. I would love for you to explain that, please, Bassie.
Sure. So Friendship Circle is an organization that really reaches out to anybody who may be in isolation and who needs community, who needs friendship. And that's what we want to be here for. So whether it's children, teens, adults, people suffering from addiction, mental health struggles, you need community, we're here for you.
It's simple. It is exactly what it sounds like. Friendship Circle. And you know what's so crazy about that is there's this common thing that it's easier to make friends when you're kids, but then when you're adults, you don't necessarily meet new friends like that. You just have your coworkers and you go home for the most part. So that's always interesting to have a space where you can create that friendship within your community. So that's very interesting. What was the motivation behind you founding, starting, creating, getting behind this Friendship Circle?
So my husband and I always knew we would do some kind of outreach growing up. We thought we were going to do religious outreach, which is under the Chabad movement. And one of the main inspirations that we've gotten from our leader, Rabbi Schneerson, was to really be able to look at a person for their soul and not for what enclosed their soul. Yes. And so thinking about individuals with special needs, especially when you go back 30 years ago, the stigma that was attached to it and the judgment that was attached to it, we were saying, you are a beautiful person. It doesn't matter whether you struggle with addiction or after that, if you were born with special needs, if you can't speak, if you can't walk, who is here to judge? You have that beautiful potential and that beautiful soul, and we are here to help reveal that potential and allow you to be the beautiful person that you are.
Oh, Bassie, talk to me. I love that. I can get behind that 100%. And I love that you all started that, and that is the motivation and the mission. Speaking of mission, Caitlin, I want to ask you, can you tell us more about the inspiration behind this event, Submerged, and this Submerged exhibition, I should say, exhibit, and just talk about the ties to the mission of the Friendship Circle also? Caitlin.
Absolutely. Yeah. So one of the things that's going on with the Friendship Circle is the Soul Studio. And that's a supported art studio for adults with special needs to create really beautiful art to follow what their vision is and make it a reality. So we've been working hard in the studio over the past couple of months. Every one of our artists has been focused on making art that is underwater themed. So it's been really exciting to see the studio come to life with all different interpretations of ocean sunsets, underwater sea creatures, just really fun, beautiful art in all mediums. So on May 2nd, we're going to have an amazing gallery opening, open to the public. We invite everyone to come and check it out, see some really creative, beautiful art, meet our artists, and get to know a little bit more.
Nice. So kind of piggybacking off of that, it's so interesting because I literally just left Toronto and we went to the aquarium there, the Ripley's Aquarium. So I saw the sharks and the different animals. So then kind of relating that to putting that into art now. I love art just in general. I could just stare at it and just get my own interpretation of it. And that's what I think we all should appreciate about art. Joining us right now, just talking about the Submerged art exhibit hosted by the Friendship Circle West Bloomfield. We have founder and director Bassi Shimtov as well as Caitlin Cartwright joining us talking about this event. What do you hope attendees will take away from experiencing this artwork in the Submerged exhibition or exhibit? Excuse me if I'm saying that wrong. Caitlin, please.
I hope that people come and they feel inspired to tap into their own creativity. Like you just said, it's so inspiring to be around, like to see other people's creativity and see what their minds come up with. We hope that people just come, get to know our artists and see the amazing work that they're putting out into the world.
Right. And are these local artists? Are these artists specifically from the Friendship Circle? Who are the artists exactly?
So these are all adults with special needs from the West Bloomfield area and beyond who come to programming. And we operate in a workshop format where people can join and kind of have a dual benefit of having community, building friendships, having a great safe space to be, while also developing their creative choices.
Okay, now that brings up a good point. I'm glad you reminded me of that. So, Bassi, my question to you is essentially, how do you feel this event contributes to raising awareness and fostering the understanding about the challenges faced by some of these individuals that are supported by the Friendship Circle?
Great question. At the Soul Studio, that is where the real base of the mission just comes to shine. So I cannot tell you. I mean, I feel like this studio just opened 2 weeks ago because if I get an opportunity, even 10 minutes to walk around and just be in the presence of all of these incredible human beings while they're creating art, besides the fact that it's just beautiful and inspiring, being in their presence as they're creating is something you never tire of. So here they're coming with all their beautiful artwork and they're presenting it to the community. And we get to have a chance where just the typical person out there who maybe never even encountered, close by somebody with special needs, they get to come and be a part of that community. It's not only a win for our artists, to be honest. I feel like it's a huge win for the typical person who has no clue what life is like to be connected with somebody that sees the world in a much purer way. So it is just, it's the greatest environment to be at. I really encourage everyone to come and see the show. You will not regret coming.
Yes, please, and please give those details again. May 2nd is the event and the location. Please give out more information in regards to
the
that.
location.
Oh, Caitlin? Yeah, go ahead.
The location is 5586 Drake Road at the Soul Studio Farber Center. And the show goes from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m.
Nice. 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. And what other initiatives or events does the Friendship Circle have planned to continue providing assistance and support to families and individuals that are faced with various challenges? I'll start with you, Caitlin, please.
We have a ton of really exciting art stuff coming up. I work specifically with community partnerships. So we are partnering with different like real estate building companies throughout the city to get our artwork out where people can see it and love it and be inspired by it.
Nice. Any last words, parting words, Bassie?
Coming to this, if you want looking to volunteer, we have our great annual walk for friendship, September 1st, just coming around the corner. Believe it or not, it happens quick. That's our annual largest fundraiser and really community support event. So it's a free event, actually, for everyone to come with their families. It is going to be an amazing walk as well as fun entertainment afterwards. So yeah, come learn more about us by coming to our cafe and our studio.
Absolutely. Thank you again for your time. From the Friendship Circle, West Bloomfield, Bassie Shimtov, Caitlin Cartwright join us talking about Submerged exhibition that they have going on coming up May 2nd. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's our job to keep the community informed about what's going on. Me being an advocate for art, Tyler, you know I love to talk about art. I love to talk about things that are going on just on the creative side in general. So happy to see that. And we hope the community go out and support that too, Tyler.
Yeah, they do great work over at the Friendship Circle to keep the community engaged and those that they're serving also engaged in the community, whether it's in art or a variety of different topics all throughout the year. We think about their annual Walk for Friendship and the kind of community engagement that brings each and every summer to our community. It's also on display at their Farber Soul Center, which not only has their art studio, but the Soul Cafe and so many other activities for individuals with special needs in our community, especially apropos in a month like April, where it is Autism Awareness Month and individuals on the spectrum heavily affected by so much in our world have a place to go where they are included and they can also experience so much of life that they're interested in right here in our community. friendshipcircle.org for more information on that. On a much less positive note, across our local area in the recent couple of weeks, Oakland County Sheriff Mike Bouchard said that detectives are investigating yet another round of residential break-ins, particularly in quote-unquote higher-end areas across Oakland County. We also know that similar incidents have also been on the rise in neighboring Wayne County as well. And so this is not the first time this has happened in recent months. A previous round of these break-ins in high-end homes in the county resulted in losses totaling about $1 million per month, and some victims included names that everybody would know, in quotes, from Sheriff Bouchard. So how do you protect your home, whether you are in a higher-end home or you're living near celebrities in our community, or you're just in your modest neighborhood home across the Greater West Bloomfield area? Joining us to talk about the many ways you can protect your home and your belongings is Officer James Pettinato from the West Bloomfield Police Department. Officer, thank you for being with us.
Morning, Tyler. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, happy to have you here to talk to us about a really important topic, because not only are people in higher-end homes from these more organized groups being targeted by potential thieves, this is something that can be a lot of what they're taking advantage of are things that others that may be looking to break into a home and steal some belongings, or even just break into your car or other areas in our community, some of the similar MOs to them. So let's start from the basic level about this particular set of incidents that have yet again arisen in Oakland County. What do you know about this, and what should the residents know from our local police perspective on this issue that's yet again arisen in Oakland County?
Yeah, no matter your net worth, you want to protect your home. So you need to help us help you prevent crime.
Yeah, and so let's dive into now some of the ways that we can do that, because we've heard in all the time we hear about people that have had belongings stolen from their cars, and even had maybe their homes broken into for just simple little quick snatch and grab robberies here and there. A lot of what we hear is that these are quote unquote crimes of opportunity. So how do we go about limiting that opportunity in the most basic ways in our homes and other spaces?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you're going out on vacation, don't post your business online. Your children, you want to make sure they're not posting your business online. You want to make the home appear occupied. So the use of lights, timers, and then number one thing you can do is lock doors, windows. If you have a door wall, use a Charlie bar. You want a neighbor to come check on your house, or family member when you're away. You want to make sure that mail stopped. You want to make sure the newspaper stopped. So giving no indication that you are away from the home.
All important advice, especially as people that may be looking for opportunities to break into a home in our community or neighboring communities, may be looking for opportunities to do that, particularly when nobody is there, because it helps them prevent themselves from being detected and possibly apprehended for their crimes, and also because they just simply don't want to interact with people when they're committing these crimes. And so those preventative measures are about creating an appearance to help protect yourself and protect your homes as well. And in terms of what else others in our community can do, Officer Pettinato, are there other steps they can take with our local police department if they want to also put some extra protections in place? There are some departments that will do some home checks, drive by the home a couple times throughout the week to check in if that's reported. I'm not sure if that's something that happens in West Bloomfield, but are there similar steps that people in our community can take in that regard?
Sure. I'd like to tell residents that you can go to wbtownship.org and look for the drop down for government. It's going to be under police. There's a crime prevention section there. I'm the crime prevention officer. On there, you're going to find a vacation notification form. You're also going to find a checklist for securing your home while you're away on vacation. And then also, with today's technology, you're more connected to neighbors than ever. So subscribe to some of that next door neighbors ring, so you know what's going on in the neighborhood. So you can share video, you can talk to other neighbors about suspicious activity, and you want to report that suspicious activity to us, whether it be persons or vehicles in the neighborhood that you don't recognize, that don't appear to be there for a legitimate reason, or that you don't recognize. Please call us at 248-975-9200, and we will check it out.
Officer James Pettinato with us, Crime Prevention Officer with the West Bloomfield Police Department, on today's edition of the program, as it has been reported recently that another uptick in a round of break-ins in high-end homes across Oakland County and surrounding areas, reports to the Oakland County Sheriff last week on that front. And so we're talking about ways that you can protect your home, whether you're out and about throughout the day or maybe you're going out on vacation this time of the year. Certainly we're getting closer to the spring and summer where people may go out of town for a weekend or take a week out on the other side of the state, going to the beaches and many different tourist locations in our state. And Officer Pettinato, you mentioned reporting suspicious activity. Now, some activities are pretty obvious to be suspicious, and others, it may just be someone's unfamiliar. They're looking for a home. They're looking to find their friend's home that they're going to a party at, or they're visiting, or they're picking up to go take to the airport. So, what should people be looking out for to decipher suspicious activity from unusual but innocent activity in their communities?
Well, that's a judgment call. Knowing your neighbors, knowing what vehicles come and go, what kind of vehicles they have. So when I do security surveys, I always tell people to keep bushes trimmed down to 3 feet and trees trimmed up to 6 feet. And this is so you have a line of sight of your neighbors' homes. So you are our best eyes out there. We can only be in so many places. So when you know what's going on in your street, in your community, you're able to assist us.
More information can be found on wbtownship.org. Navigate through their government tab to the police department for helpful advice, information, and contact info for the West Bloomfield Police Department. And find even more crime prevention tips and helpful information for the West Bloomfield Township community on their Facebook page, facebook.com/West Bloomfield PD. Officer Pettinato, any other lasting advice for us as we are looking to protect our homes inside and outside while we're home and while we're away at this time?
Yes, these summer months, we see a lot of break-ins in vehicles. So we're gonna, again, advise our residents to lock their cars. Number one, take all the valuables out. So all the cords for their phones, hide them, tuck them away. All the valuables out, no firearms in the car. And bring that all inside for the night, or even if you're going out to a shopping plaza, they've been targeted at your house and at shopping plazas. So make sure everything's out and you lock those doors.
More information and these helpful tips, again, Facebook at West Bloomfield PD, or find the Facebook page and the website for your local police department across our 4 communities. As Officer Pettinato said, we tend to see this time of the year more break-ins of cars. Those are often crimes of opportunity, unlocked vehicles, belongings, especially valuables, in plain sight. So much that you can do and so much great advice from our friends at the West Bloomfield Township Police Department. Officer Pettinato, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Tyler.
Appreciate it. wbtownship.org for more information from the West Bloomfield Police Department. You can also find their non-emergency number, 248-975-9200, which will help you to report any suspicious activity in your neighborhood or to get more information on crime prevention in your community and the ways that you can partner with our local police department to help keep our local communities, including your neighborhoods, safe. Having great advice from our friends at the West Bloomfield Police Department.
Yeah, Tyler, I have been a victim of that, a home invasion before. So that story hit different to me. I completely understand, the steps, the safeties, but sometimes, man, some people just have an eye on you, and it just didn't work out for our situation. But there's other steps that we can take. More technology nowadays, Ring cameras, that happened a long time ago before that type of technology. So there's so many different ways that we can, and different methods that we can use to prevent those type of actions to take nowadays. So that was a great interview, Tyler, by the way, man. But like I said, I and I'm pretty sure other people definitely needed that information.
Yeah, it's really important, especially this time of the year, given the activities that we've had in the news in our local area in the past couple of weeks. There's not any large reason for massive concern across our communities. It does seem like these break-ins that Sheriff Bouchard had been talking about and brought back up last week are more targeted once again and are being highly organized by groups that have come into our state, have been pushed out after a few of their rings had been caught, and have now made a resurgence in Oakland County and some surrounding areas. All the more reason for you to be vigilant. The more obstructions, the more ways that you can show them that these are not areas that they want to be in or want to be exploring in your home are going to be helpful for our community. And of course, always reporting that suspicious activity. Kevin, if there is suspicious activity, if there is need for emergency response in our communities, Oakland County's been working with our local public safety departments, police, fire, and EMS all across not only Greater West Bloomfield, but county-wide, implementing a new emergency radio communications network that will make communication between our local departments faster and more efficient than ever before.
Tyler, great segue, because this was a situation where we didn't necessarily know as a community that was necessary, but very, very necessary within organizations in Oakland County, and specifically within our Greater West Bloomfield community. I had an actual opportunity to speak with Michael Wood, who's the captain of the fire department for West Bloomfield to tell us the upgrading that they had within their radio systems. And Captain, if you don't mind, if you can tell us about the new P25 public emergency radio system and how you feel it will help improve public safety overall.
The old system that we were on, it was called Open Sky, and that was just Oakland County based radio system. With this new system, it now encompasses the state and probably even outside of, if we ever have to utilize that.
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. So now we're on board with communicating with other municipalities, departments, if we ever are in need of any other assistance and things of that nature. So you did say this ultimately did replace a previous system, Open Sky. What would you feel like were the challenges with that previous radio system that needed to be improved?
Well, the system actually, I think, expired. They weren't making radio parts anymore. So the county was kind of forced to make a change, and we got on board with the Michigan State Police radio band, radio frequency.
Great information. So overall, it is, as someone who is a communication or used to be a communication major, I'm far removed from college at this point, I know the importance of communicating, right? So while to the public this may or may not seem like something big, it's very, very key because there could have been issues of blackout spots or areas where you wouldn't get service. I'm not saying that whether or not I know that's the actual problem, but I know when you're dealing with some type of faulty communication system, miscommunication can really like deter the progress, especially with our emergency crew and first responders such as yourself. So how do other features in this system like GPS and recording system enhance the communication with the first responders?
Yep. So in today's world, we depend upon mutual aid more and more. So having the ability to talk with those mutual aid companies that are outside of West Bloomfield is very important to us. We do have contingency plans. Even the county has contingency plans in place if the radio system were to go down. So it's the radio itself, nice and bright and yellow, actually has two means of communicating. We can communicate with the towers and then broadcast to the world, or we can just communicate radio to radio in case the towers are not accessible. So with this new system, we do have the GPS capabilities on them. So if an individual were to activate their emergency button and have an emergency, then dispatch can pinpoint their exact location using GPS to get additional resources to them to help alleviate whatever the problem is. We have a lot of radio channels on this little radio as well. We have over 480 available just to the fire department. The police department has a little bit more, and then the county or our dispatch center has even more to choose from.
Interesting. Nice bright green radio. Also looks pretty cool. Looks like a toy. I'm gonna be honest with you. I want one of those, Captain. I'm just gonna be honest. I've always wanted a walkie-talkie. It's pretty.
Just don't hit the red button.
Don't never hit the red button. I don't care where you are. Don't hit the red button. Join us right now, West Bloomfield Fire Department Captain Michael Wood. Join us talking about these new upgraded radio systems within Oakland County, specifically West Bloomfield, the P25 radio system. So you say they now have the capability of communicating beyond just Oakland County, different counties, different cities, even possibly different states. So with that, let's just say, for an example, we have a national event coming up to the Metro Detroit area, the NFL Draft. Huge event. I would imagine there's a lot of different moving parts. Can you just talk about how radio systems like this actually help with collaboration between departments and counties when it comes to major events like this?
Yep. So these radios are not cheap. We don't like to give out loaners because they're so expensive. So everyone can kind of use their own radio. And with the NFL Draft, if they're bringing in mutual aid companies, which I think that is in the plan, that's all part of the Emergency Operations Center that they're working on, contingency plans for all that. They can set up very robust communication systems so that there isn't that lack of communication.
Right. Okay. So what would you say the role that Oakland County agencies like yours play in ensuring public safety beyond our borders? with these new systems? I know, like we said, we just talked about the draft, but any other instances where you may have to step outside of these borders? Talk about how this helps with that also.
Yeah, so if the governor declares a state of emergency anywhere, let's say the dam that broke up in the Midland area, a state of emergency was activated for that, and our teams that can offer assistance can now organized go up there and offer assistance and be in communication and keep everybody updated and start completing tasks that are required of them.
Right.
Not only the dam, but tornadoes, severe weathers,
Good point.
any natural disaster, any act of terrorism, we can all get involved and be supportive and solve the problems.
You know what's so crazy? The more you talk and explain that, I'm really starting to understand why we needed these upgraded systems. Now, I didn't know anything about the old system, but now I'm like, we should have had this. Why? Like, this is necessary in case of those emergencies. You don't want to wish that you had that capability during that time. You already want to have that type of thing in place. So thank you for providing that. What are your expectations long term for this new system and how it could improve the relationships between departments?
I think the relationship between the departments is going very well to begin with. I just think that the radios are going to just ensure that and keep us being able to communicate. And obviously, it's a radio communication. That's key. That's the whole point, right?
No, 100%, 100%. So within your specific department, the fire department, how do you feel like this has improved your communication just within your department? Has it fixed any possible issues that you may or may not have experienced?
So there are some dead zones, and we've planned for that, and we are knowledgeable of where those are, and we're working with the county to improve those dead zones. But this radio also has the capability of we can get around those dead zones and still communicate with each other, just to keep everybody safe. We have a very close relationship with our neighboring communities, and they are also on the same radio system. So that's very nice. We've had a couple larger scale fires where we've had to call in mutual aid, and they've just blended right in with our incident command system. It was refreshing.
Nice. I don't want to sit here and pick your brain all day about walkie-talkies and radio systems, Captain, but I definitely do appreciate your time. Any other additional information that you want to get out, any messages for the West Bloomfield community that you want to share while we have you?
No, I don't think so. You actually had some very good questions, and you covered a lot of ground.
Thank you, man. Make me feel like I'm doing my job. I'll let Dave know that. Thank you again. Once again, West Bloomfield Fire Department Captain Michael Wood joining us on the Splash Live talking about the new P25 radio systems here in West Bloomfield. Thank you again, sir.
Thank you, Kevin.
And that was so important because, like I said, to start off everything, we as a community on the outside may not understand or even care about their walkie-talkie. They're very fancy walkie-talkies, by the way, but nonetheless, it was very, very important for them to communicate to each other, to different departments within West Bloomfield and different municipalities outside of this. And for anyone watching on Civic Center TV, I switched my hair up in my outfit very, very fast. Go ahead, Tyler.
Yeah, and it is really important when they have those situations where they need massive response. Maybe it's a large fire. Maybe it is a call in for a threat at a local public gathering space, or God forbid a local school. That creates a need for a massive response from across our 4 communities and beyond, and that's a big reason for having these regional communication systems, and that upgrade going to be big for Oakland County, something that really is now a point of pride for our public safety across the local area. Gone from police to fire and EMS, and now to veterans in our community. Earlier this week, veterans in Sylvan Lake had their monthly meetup at Evolve Juice and Smoothie Bar on Eclipse Day in Keego Harbor. Now, Kevin, the bar is usually closed on Mondays, but they opened just specially for our veterans in our community in order for them to bring in this event and enjoy as much coffee and pastries and as much else as they would like. 11 veterans in total showed up to this event and were invited into Evolve Juice and Smoothie Bar in Keego Harbor. And big thanks to the small business community for reaching out and for organizers in Sylvan Lake for bringing these veterans together, because we hear all the time from them how much they enjoy getting to know each other and share their stories.
Listen, I am going to continuously be an advocate for veterans, man, who served this country and gave me and people like us the peace and the rights that we have today. So for businesses to open up their doors and do things for veterans just to make them feel special and give thanks, I got to completely honor Evolve Juice. And you can never go wrong with a nice smoothie, Tyler. Come on, man. Fresh fruit. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, a really tasty way to enjoy some time with your friends and veterans in our community. Not only does Sylvan Lake bring in veterans from the prettiest little city in Michigan, but even from surrounding areas invited in. They meet monthly at a variety of different places. Lately, it's been a lot of small businesses. Sometimes it's at the Sylvan Lake Community Center. You can find more information for the veteran in your life in our local community by visiting sylvanlake.org to keep up to date with their next monthly meetup and where that is going to take place. I haven't seen anything on the calendar just yet, but it will pop up there very soon as organizers are hard at work getting that together. Heartwarming story from within the prettiest little city in Michigan, doing something great with our veterans that's been going on for a little bit over a year. Plenty more stories like that and more important topics to discuss all across our 4 communities all throughout the week. We invite you to stay up to date with us. Find all of our shows and segments on demand on civiccentertv.com and all the times that we air all throughout the day. You can also keep up to date with us by following us on Facebook at Civic Center TV 15 and YouTube at Civic Center TV. For our entire team at Civic Center TV, Calvin Brown, Jake Schaff, Kevin McIntosh, I'm Tyler Kieft. Thank you for watching and listening to The Splash Live.